What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HnH Podcast. I am your co-host, Humzah Rana, joined by my older brother, Huzaifah Z Rana. We have come to an end of another NFL season. Just like that, the offseason has begun. Super Bowl Sunday was last weekend, or the most recent weekend, whatever. So this is the first episode of the offseason of the HnH Podcast. Huzaifah, how are we feeling?
I am doing great, Humzah. Thank you so much for that introduction. It feels good to be back on another recording day, Humzah. Obviously, as you mentioned, the Super Bowl just passed. We are in the thick of it with the Olympics right now. As for the video listeners, you guys can see I'm repping my Team Canada hoodie right now. It's an exciting time to be a sports fan in this world, whether that be the Super Bowl, the Olympics. Overall, dude, 2026 is actually a great year for sports. If you think about it, we just had the Super Bowl. I just mentioned the Olympics this summer. We have Champions League coming up in a couple weeks, in about a month and a half, 2 months. Then we have the FIFA World Cup this summer, which is super exciting. And then literally right after the World Cup, we're right back to the NFL season. So it's it's crazy how quickly time's flying. Already we're in mid-February. And a couple months from now, there will be the NFL draft, which is also something we are excited about. But Super Bowl was great. Humzah, how was your Super Bowl, your party, which I think you went out with some of your boys. So how was that? Overall, what was your overall vibe of the Super Bowl this week? Because we didn't watch it this year. We actually haven't watched the last couple Super Bowls together. So what was your overall vibe of the Super Bowl?
I mean, we're watching like one of my good friends. He's a Seahawks fan, so he obviously wanted the Seahawks to win and whatnot. But a lot of the guys were, a lot of the guys they're not like as heavy football watchers as we are, so they would find that type of game like boring. For the football watchers over there, like it was a really good defensive game. The defensive side, there was turnovers happening. There were great plays from the front seven on both teams. The secondary made good plays. Christian Gonzalez was playing his heart out that game for New England. Seemed like the only Patriots player that really wanted to win. It was a good game. And of course, it got a little spicy towards the end, but we had back-to-back touchdown drives from the Patriots and the Seahawks. But the party was cool. We're at one of my boys' house. One of my other boys, someone that I actually called on the podcast, was sleeping throughout the entire night. So that was fun. But overall, but the game, the game was good. I enjoyed it a bit. I do admit, for non-football watchers, I guess Super Bowl is like the big thing, is what everyone watches. You expect the game to be kind of more entertaining, at least offensively. I think that's what non-football watchers find entertaining, is seeing offenses score back and forth here and there. Last year with Philadelphia, it was just Philadelphia would just score every drive. It'd be a blowout in that sense. The year before, that was a really entertaining Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the 49ers. It went into overtime, high-scoring game, very, great back-and-forth game. So, in hindsight, from the non-football watchers, I guess that game would be boring. But to me, honestly, I enjoyed the game.
Yeah, and for people who don't know the score or what happened, the Seattle Seahawks ended up winning that game. I believe it was 29-13 for the Seattle Seahawks. So they are your Super Bowl 60 champions. And similar to last year, right after the Super Bowl, their offensive coordinator got hired right away, and he was named the next head coach. So last year it was Kellen Moore being named the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, and now you had Clinton Kubiak being the head coach of now the Las Vegas Raiders. So we'll get into a little bit of the recap of the game in just a moment or two. But Humzah, I want to know from your perspective, what were your thoughts on the halftime show? Did you enjoy it? Did you watch the other one, or did you watch the main one?
No, honestly, I even though I didn't understand a word, I thought it was entertaining, to say the least. I think Bad Bunny is a really well-renowned artist in the world right now. One of the most popular streamed artists. I think he has like the highest monthly listeners on Spotify right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, again, I didn't understand anything, but it was pretty cool. I liked the scenes, or like the different type of angles that they were going at. Bringing everyone together. Yeah, I can. Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I didn't understand a single word that was said throughout the entire halftime show. But besides that, I thought the messaging was great. I thought the overall show was great, and yeah, the music was entertaining as well. I just wish that I was one of the trees there. You know, the the human trees that were taking over the
Yeah.
field. That was pretty cool. I feel like that would have been something to say that hey, I was a tree in the halftime show of the Super Bowl. I don't know how they got like
Was
the,
it
you know how many.
did you know that the engagement was a real engagement?
Yes, that wasn't real. So apparently there was an engagement before in the beginning of the show, then the actual wedding after. But apparently
Yeah, the wedding and whatnot.
he knew the two people, the couple who were getting married. They invited him to their wedding a couple months ago. He couldn't attend, and then that's a pretty cool wedding to have it in front of the entire world on a Super Bowl halftime show. That was pretty cool. But yeah, overall, I thought the messaging was great, and who cares? So I have a question for you. If you are in charge, like it's like you are the guy, and no one else's opinion matters. Who is your ideal Super Bowl halftime show?
Well, I mean, my favorite artist is Lil Baby, and he's been Lil Baby for years. And I think a Lil Baby halftime show would be cool, but I don't think he is like he's a big artist. A lot of people know him, but I don't think he'd be someone that like everyone would know. Like you know how a couple years ago they did 50 and Cent and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that's like everyone knew who they were. But me, honestly, like I want to say Drake. Drake would have a sick halftime show. The amount of songs
do you
that he
think they
would
would put
like.
Drake after the Kendrick halftime show?
I mean, I'm Team Drake all the way, and I think Drake would have been like. It depends where you do it. Like I don't know when the next Super Bowl where it's gonna be.
Next year's in L.A.
L.A. Oh, that'd be. Everyone would hate it to have Drake in L.A. because all the West Side people are Team Kendrick. Like if the Super Bowl was in like Miami or something, or if it was Super Bowl was in anywhere or like maybe like New York or something like that, then I think that's where you would probably have Drake to be there.
I can't remember. It's been a while actually. I've been thinking about this too. The Super Bowls wow. Yo, time out. That was crazy. Let me take a second and reset. Okay, we're good. I can't remember the last time a Super Bowl was played in a like a cold environment, right? Like I think the last one I remember was Seattle and Denver, where it was played at MetLife in New York. But the last like handful of Super Bowls have been either in a dome or in
Even in
Miami
like West Coast.
or like West Coast, like San Francisco, like it just was.
We were in
Like
Vegas. Like yeah,
Atlanta,
last year they were in LA a couple years ago.
Houston, they've been in Arizona. I'm
Yeah.
wondering. I think maybe they're kind of done with the whole outdoor, cold atmospheres, right? Like, I think Minnesota would be a great Super Bowl because they have that nice dome there.
Mhm.
Why are you laughing?
No. Or even Tampa. I do it in Tampa
The
Bay.
Bucks, they had.
Oh yeah, it already was in Tampa
Yeah,
like 5 years ago.
that was the Chiefs Tampa Bay
When
beat the Chiefs pretty
yeah,
bad.
maybe the Chiefs. What about like Jacksonville?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I'm wondering. I don't know why they haven't done any outdoor hostile cold environment games.
Yeah.
But besides that, Hamza, overall, let's quickly recap the game for our viewers. Obviously, we mentioned Seattle picking up the big victory. Hamza, what would you say was the biggest surprise for you in that game? Was it how effective how effective the New England, how effective the Seattle Seahawks defense was, or how ineffective the offense was for New England? What would you say is the biggest surprise, or was there another surprise like Myers getting 5 field goals and a Super Bowl MVP favorite?
You know, I kind of had a feel that it would have been a defensive game, which it was for a majority of the game. More so surprised than, you know, people want to say, oh, Drake May, he didn't, like, it wasn't fully his fault. He got sacked 5 times. But I was watching, I'm sure you know Kurt, Kurt, the Madden former Packers quarterback.
Yeah.
I was watching him. He was doing like a film review on like all the sacks that Drake May could have avoided in like his pre-snap, like what he was doing pre-snap, and yeah, Drake May didn't look like the same quarterback that we saw all year. There was a bunch of times where like he was looking in a direction and he had someone open, but for some reason he just wanted to make the big play in the which eventually caused him to either getting sacked or for it to be a interception or a bad ball throwing into triple coverage. I was pretty disappointed in the way Drake May played, and honestly I guess you can one thing that we were talking about previously is the schedule that he had. He beat a very who did they play first round? They played
The Chargers.
They played the Chargers. So they beat up Justin Herbert, and Joel Alt and Rashawn Slater were both injured. So the two of their star tackles didn't play. Didn't have much offensive production from the Chargers. Then they played the Texans, and C.J. Stroud had a horrible game. That defense was still we're not gonna act like the Patriots beat the Houston Texans by a lot. The Houston Texans defense kept the game close the entire time, but again, Drake May didn't have the craziest game. Then against Denver, against the Jared Stidham Broncos, I think it says a lot. Even in the regular season, when he's had the easiest schedule out of every quarterback, I think that did come to show. I will admit though, his O-line wasn't the greatest, but I don't think it's fully on the O-line's fault. I think there definitely could have been times where Drake May could have stepped up and avoided a couple big play sacks and did something else. For the Seahawks, in terms of Seattle, honestly, it's what they've been doing all year. You see the amount of pre-snap motion they're doing with Rashid Shaheed. They literally did the same play 3 times or 2 times in one drive. The fake handoff to the toss to Rashid Shaheed. They try to do that the entire time, but the Patriots defense, the edge would just set the edge and they wouldn't fall for it. But Kenneth Walker had a huge game, the Super Bowl MVP. Did not expect that. I thought if there was anyone to win the Super Bowl MVP, it would be JSN or Sam Darnold. But Kenneth Walker came up big. He's gonna get paid a bag this offseason, being a free agent. So, I was really surprised of just the way Drake May managed that game. I think that's what kind of threw me off the most.
Yeah, I think the biggest surprise for me is I knew the Seattle defense was really good. I knew that they had a great year overall, but I did not anticipate them dominating the way that they did, especially the defensive line. You talk about DeMarcus Lawrence and his impact. I know he's a former Cowboy, whatever, but he had a phenomenal game on the defensive side of the ball. I believe it was Julian Love, that safety, number 20. He had a pick. He had some great defensive plays.
Number 7 in Wolfsu.
Yeah, he's the one that got the touchdown, exactly. Witherspoon. I think overall we just saw a variety of different schemes implemented by Mike McDonald, and we saw that really come to show on Sunday. And you got to give them credit. They played really well. Physical, young defense. And I mentioned young, these guys are young, right? A lot of these guys are second, maybe third-year players. Nick Manwari is a rookie. I think that's going to be a message and an interesting conversation we're going to have about the future of Caleb Downs and where does he get drafted, right? Because I think now teams are seeing the impact that these young safeties can make in the NFL, and that would make me, entice these guys to draft a guy like Caleb Downs early, who's a natural, a safety that can play kind of anywhere inside or outside the box. So my biggest surprise for me was definitely Seattle's defense and how quickly they were able to cause a lot of trouble for Drake May. And the number 2 obviously was, I don't think Sam Darnold had the greatest game. He was a game manager for the most part. Offensively they did what they were supposed to do, but you look at this defense for Seattle, they are the reason why they are the Super Bowl champions, and that goes back to our debate a few weeks ago where we said, you don't really need an elite quarterback to win a national championship or a Super Bowl, right? You need a defense. So I have a question for you, Humzah. This can spark a little bit of a debate between us. I heard this talking on First Take. They were talking about this on First Take. How many quarterbacks in the NFC would you take over Sam Darnold after Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl? And you can name them as well. How many quarterbacks are you taking?
In the NFC or just NFL?
We'll go just NFC because he's a
NFC. There's not many. Only I'd probably take Stafford, Dak, maybe Jordan Love.
So you're taking Sam Darnold over Jared Goff.
Yeah, 100%.
You're taking Sam Darnold over Jalen Hurts.
I'm taking Sam Darnold over Jalen Hurts. I'm taking Sam Darnold over Jaden Daniels.
So why are you taking Sam Darnold over Jalen Hurts?
Why? Because Sam Darnold is an actual good quarterback. Sam Darnold can. You saw what he did against the Rams a couple weeks ago. If Jalen Hurts was the starting quarterback for the Seahawks against the Rams, the Seahawks are going to lose that game for 100%. Sam Darnold has played the entire playoff run except for the Super Bowl. He's been putting up crazy numbers. He's been scoring 4+ touchdowns in the 2 games against San Francisco. He scored 4 or 5. Was it 4 or was it 5 against the Rams? In the Super Bowl, I know he only threw 1, but he managed the game pretty well. And honestly, there wasn't much that you can. If you're just talking about that Super Bowl particularly, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks that could have won that game. I'm saying throughout the entire season with Seattle, I think Sam Darnold did what he can do. I think there's not many.
Are you taking Baker Mayfield over Sam Darnold?
No, I'm taking Darnold over Baker.
And you said you're taking Jordan Love. Yeah, for me.
Yeah, I only like Jordan Love's a toss up, but for sure Stafford and Dak, and then maybe Love, maybe.
No, you might catch some heat with the Dak take. I'm taking for sure. I'm taking Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold. For sure, I'm taking.
It has to be like Dak. I'm sorry.
I'm taking Dak over Sam Darnold as well.
Dude, Dak's not a game manager. He's a game changer.
Yeah. So, question: do you think? Yeah, I guess you kind of answer yourself. Like, I think any quarterback in the NFC with that defense could win that Super Bowl.
Yeah, just that game. I'm saying other games though, I don't think so.
Interesting.
The throws that Darnold makes, like, dude, this guy throws like one of the tightest spirals I've ever seen, and also the way he's able to fit the ball in between defenders, like right in between, like what's it called, a gap or a window, like a tight window. Not many quarterbacks can do that.
It's crazy. Minnesota took J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold. That's
apparently they were trying to trade him.
Who?
McCarthy to the Raiders.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But the Raiders said no.
Interesting. So, yeah, that was our Super Bowl recap. Overall, thought it was a pretty good game. I guess Humzah mentioned it perfectly. Kind of a boring game for the non-football fans. Even for me, as a football fan, there were times where it was a little bit boring. You want a Super Bowl to be back and forth, kind of action all over the place. But from a defensive perspective, I thought it was a very entertaining game in terms of for Seattle. And it'll be interesting to see what happens next year, right? Like, these were 2 teams who did not make the playoffs last year. And all of a sudden, in 1 year, turned it around completely. And now we're in the Super Bowl, resulting in Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks winning that game. So that was our Super Bowl recap for you guys. Obviously, congratulations to Seattle, and we look forward to next year. Did you see the Super Bowl logo for next year?
I did not.
So there's some orange in it. There's some kind of turquoise blue. Then there's a little bit like navy blue and some white. So I don't know. Is that whole thing like that thing? I don't think that's real anymore.
Bengals versus Dallas next year, Super Bowl 61.
Bengals versus Dallas, or maybe Miami versus the Dallas Cowboys next year. So Humzah, going into our next segment now, obviously with it being the off season, free agency is right around the corner, and we mentioned before that a lot of our mock drafts are dependent on what teams do in free agency. So Humzah, let's do it we'll go like an overall, like give me your top 3 free agents and which teams you think can benefit from a player like that. And then we'll transition to Dallas, where you think who are your top 2 or 3 Dallas Cowboy free agent targets. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I can go first.
Okay, so give me 3 overall big name free agents that you're looking for. Any team that could benefit.
I'd say the biggest name, probably that's going to be the most expensive, is Trey Hendrickson, edge rusher from Cincinnati. Definitely no way he's going to go back to Cincy. There's been too many issues with him in the front office, and he's expressed how he feels with that front office. And I also think the Bengals have mutual interest to not bring him back. So Trey Hendrickson has a lot of options to go. I think a team like the Buccaneers could be a place where he could fit in quite well. A team that really does need a solidified edge rusher. I think the reason why the Buccaneers weren't as good as they were early on because their defense couldn't pick up. So I think the Bucks are a team. I think the Lions could also be a team. Pairing Trey Henderson up with Aiden Hutchinson would be a scary thing to see. I think another team you could say, again, I say this team, but they're probably not going to do it, but it makes sense, is the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas needs a predominant edge rusher, and getting a guy like Trey Henderson would definitely help. So those are like the three for Trey Henderson. Are we going to do am I going to just pick
No,
three?
so give me like 3 players and then one team for each player.
One team? Okay.
1 to 2
So
teams.
my
And
next one, I'm going to go with someone who broke out this year, revived his career. I'm going to go with Daniel Jones. I'm not sure what the Indianapolis Colts are going to do with him. I don't know if they're going to bring him back or whatnot, but him coming off injury might, scare them off a bit. I think the best fit for Daniel Jones, I'm thinking of a team. I'm thinking like Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh can use a quarterback. I think Daniel Jones showed what he can do this year with that Colts offense and what he had to deal with. I think Pittsburgh is definitely a option for a guy like Daniel Jones. And then my next one, I was debating between the two, but I'm going to go with Khalil Mack, the edge rusher from the Chargers. Again, don't know if they're going to bring him back or not, but I think, why don't you send him to... oh my God, what was I going to say? You send him to a team like the Commanders. Commanders need another edge rusher. They definitely will be heavily touching free agency this year. So I have a lot of saliva in my mouth. I just need to swallow real quick. Send him to a team like the Commanders that do need an edge rusher. They could draft one, but I think Khalil Mack has shown what he can do, and I feel like that's such a Commander signing to bring a guy like Khalil Mack.
Okay, so your top 3 were Trey Hendrickson, Daniel Jones, and Khalil Mack. Okay, so my number 1 free agent available, unrestricted free agent for this summer. This guy, only 25 years old, and coming out of his draft, he was supposed to be one of the best prospects in that position that we have seen in a very, very long time. I think we might see someone similar to that this year in Kenyon Sadiq. But my number 1 free agent right now from the Atlanta Falcons is Kyle Pitts, tight end, who I just mentioned is 25 years old. And you talk about a guy who is a athletic. What he needs is he needs a quarterback that can consistently get him the ball in the red zone and into space, because his speed is honestly amazing. And we kind of saw what happened towards the end of the regular season, where Kyle Pitts started to really excel into becoming someone that we all thought he was going to be when he got drafted. And my number 1 target for him, depending on the availability of Travis Kelce, is a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. You pair him up with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, as I mentioned before. Kyle Pitts, 25 years old. Kyle Pitts is 25 years old. He's extremely fast, and he can be that downfield threat for a team like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's my number 1 option. Sorry, I have something up in my nose there. So yeah, that's my first option. My second option, I'm just going to pull it up right here. You already mentioned Trey Hendrickson, which I wanted to mention as well. This young guy, also a young player, extremely underrated. I think a team like, honestly, the Dallas Cowboys can maybe benefit from a guy like this. I'm going to go linebacker from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Devin Lloyd, 27 years old, so not too young, but he's still a little bit later in his 20s, but he's still a guy who's extremely versatile. He's usually playing on the outside linebacker position, but I've also seen a few times he has the ability to play on the edge as well. So I mentioned the Dallas Cowboys can be a team that can look for him, and another team that can kind of benefit from a guy like this guy, Devin Lloyd, are the Cleveland Browns. You look along. They already have, forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, the guy who got Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Carson
Swishinger, yeah. So you already have him. You have Myles Garrett on the defensive end. You pair a guy like Devin Lloyd there, who's fast as well. That can be a great pickup here. And I'm just pulling up my list here. Apologies that. Humzah, what are your thoughts on those 2 players before I go into my last one?
Yeah, Devin Lloyd is definitely someone to keep an eye on. He's also getting in a bag this summer. Who was the other one that you said?
Kyle Pitts was my
Kyle
first one.
Pitts. Yeah, so Kyle Pitts is yeah, I'm actually very intrigued to see where he would land. I think also maybe Miami would be a good place for Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts.
And my other position for you guys here is also another linebacker, Alex Alonso, linebacker for the Detroit Lions. I think we really saw his best years when he had a guy. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. The head coach right now, of the Jets.
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn, exactly. Excuse me for forgetting that. We saw Alex Alonso really, I think, in his prime of his career when Aaron Glenn was there. I definitely see a reunion to send him back to Aaron Glenn and play with the New York Jets. So those are my three. I got two linebackers in Devin Lloyd and Alex Alonso, paired up with Kyle Pitts, my number one free agent target, Humzah. So I'll kick it back to you. Why don't we just do one or two Dallas Cowboy focused free agent players that we can look at targeting this offseason?
For sure. So I'm gonna go with probably the most realistic signing and someone that I 100% any team for this guy to sign, it would be Dallas. I'm gonna go linebacker Quincy Williams, brother of Quinnen Williams. He's gonna be 30 years old this year. Production did kind of dip this year. Wasn't as productive. Only had 3.5 sacks, 45 solo tackles, 83 total tackles. Total tackles. But in 2024, he did a lot better. He had 116 total tackles, 74 solo tackles, 44 assisted. He had 2 sacks, 4 forced fumbles. Like he had a really good season for himself last year. I think someone that I'm probably outdone with New York. Someone I don't see at all going back, and I think there's definitely also already mutual interest between Quincy Williams and the Cowboys. So that's the first, realistic signing I see for Dallas right here.
Okay, for me, yeah, let's go. We'll go 1-1-2-1-2 here. So my number one realistic target for the Dallas Cowboys to look at targeting this offseason and free agency. I think you have to target edge rusher if you're Dallas. You have to be able to get a guy who's proven in this league. And obviously Trey Hendrickson would be amazing. Realistic, I mean, I want to make it realistic, but I don't know if Jerry Jones and the staff is kind of considering that. So I'm going to go a little bit kind of a curveball here. I'm going to go with Hassan Reddick, edge rusher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who is now going to be an unrestricted free agent. I just remember this guy. Also, he always seems to play really well against Dallas when he was with the Eagles, always sacking Dak. This is a 31-year-old player, edge rusher, who's a true edge rusher, right? Like, he's going to line up on the edge, and you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy with natural bend, his ability to get outside, use his hands, and he can make impact plays for your team. And we're not asking for 9, 10 plus sacks. If you can get a 7 sacks, 6 to 7 sacks, but also being able to benefit this team in the run game, I think it's a great option. And he opposite of a guy like Donovan Ezaraku, and then also if you do draft a guy in free agents, in the NFL draft, it's just a good tandem to have. And obviously, we were extremely disappointed in Dante Fowler, who we paid a lot of money for. Actually, not a lot of money, but it was the most money the Dallas Cowboys have paid for an edge rusher or any type of free agent, and he was extremely disappointing for us. So, was that scheme with Eberflus? Was that Dante Fowler? You never really know. But for me, I like a guy like Hassan Reddick as my number one edge rusher to kind of target this year. Humzah, we'll kick it back to you.
For sure. And again, another one that's realistic, but people may differ. But if you really understand the hire of Christian Parker and his impact and what he's had with that Philadelphia defense, someone that we did mention before, I'm looking at Reed Blankenship. I'm thinking there's definitely a lot of mutual interest from Christian Parker and Reed Blankenship. Also did mention in an interview, he was asked if there's any interest between him and Dallas. He didn't say no, but he said that we'll cross that. We'll cross that. What do you say? A border or something? We'll
cross that bridge.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Someone that is a free agent, and also Philadelphia is also pretty good at safety too. The rookie that they drafted this year, Andrew Mukuba out of Texas, and They have Sidney Brown. They have a couple other players. But in 2025, he had 83 total tackles. 53 solo tackles. Had 0 interceptions. No, sorry, he had 1 interception this year. And someone that is just a proper zone safety. This isn't a guy who's gonna make the biggest hits all the time, but this is a guy who's gonna properly play that zone. Someone that isn't gonna just run down and get out of his zone. This is a really good zone safety. Someone that would be very reliable. He isn't the flashiest player, but he can also lay the hit when he needs to. Someone that also isn't that bad in man coverage as well. So I think this is someone that would be an instant impact player for Dallas, because Dallas for years now have been having inconsistent play at safety, whether that be Malik Hooker, whether that be Donovan Wilson, Marquise Bell, and whoever. I think Blankenship for sure is a realistic option here for Dallas, and I think I would love to see Reed Blankenship in a Dallas jersey instead of a Philly jersey.
I love that pick. Reed Blankenship alongside Christian Parker. I think it's a good recipe for success if you're Dallas. Humzah. For me, man, I'm going in the mindset that the Dallas Cowboys are going to re-sign Javonte Williams, so I'm not going to go offense here. Just for conversation basis, if Javonte Williams is not coming back to Dallas, a guy that I would look at maybe is Breece Hall, maybe at running back. He's only 24 years old. That can be a guy that you do target if you're Dallas. If Javonte Williams is not coming back, but in a perfect world, Javonte is coming back. He's going to get better. Obviously, this guy was, he's not the fastest guy, but he's able to have impact runs, and I think game-changing runs. So Javonte Williams, I'm going to act like he's staying. If Javonte Williams is not going, Breece Hall, obviously Kenneth Walker is going to go back to Seattle, you know that. But I'm going to go back to the defensive side of the ball, and my second pick and my last pick for the Dallas Cowboys to target in free agency. Obviously,
I think we should do one more each.
Okay, we can do one more each, so that's fine. So I have, obviously, the Dallas Cowboys, we already have Deron Bland. We have Chavon Revel, who's going to be going into his second full year. I do still think we are missing another corner to assist in this, and then maybe a draft. Maybe you draft Mansour Delane, and your problems are all solved. But again, we don't know until the draft and all that stuff. So going into the draft, it's good to have some security. And I like this guy. He got traded this offseason in season as well. He's going to be a free agent. Greg Newsome, DB, currently for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Again, only 25 years old. You can start to see a trend that I'm kind of picking here. I'm trying to pick a little bit younger guys, guy with some term, guys who have the ability to stay with the team a little bit longer. I like Greg Newsome a lot. I think he's super underrated. His ability to flip his hips, make plays on balls, and he's kind of sneaky fast as well. So I think a guy like him, alongside, let's just say we don't draft DB, Greg Newsome and Chavon Revel, I think I'm pretty confident in, and then Deron Bland can play that inside corner. So Greg Newsome is my second option at free agency.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna, because I was surprised you didn't say him when you said running back. I'm like, okay, for sure he's 100% gonna say this guy's name, but I'm surprised you didn't. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Javonte Williams situation right now. I'm hoping that they do sign him, but if they don't, be very upset. But I've said this before. I don't think I've said it on camera, but I think a lot of running backs can run behind that Dallas offensive line. We saw what Malik Davis can do when he got the touches. I think honestly any running back can run behind the offensive line.
So why didn't Jaden Blue?
He had attitude issues, and when he did play, he had a great game against the Giants.
Okay, game. He got a touchdown or two, but okay, keep going.
It was his first game. Anyways, I think there's mutual interest between these guys, and the picks that I'm going are, we both try to stay realistic, but I'm thinking of someone that there's actual interest there. I'm not just picking someone out of the blue moon. So someone that said that he'd be interested in coming back to Dallas, I'm gonna go Rico Dowdle. He was a running back one before 2 years ago. He had a good year, but wasn't as productive. This year, when he had that 2 legacy games that made him the best running back in the world for 2 weeks.
One of them was against us.
Yeah, one of them was against us. But there's something different when I'm watching Rico Dowdle play this year. there's something that he has. I'm like, I just never saw this in Dallas before, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a scheme. I don't know what it is. Even with Javonte Williams, we saw him run. I'm like, dude, we've never seen this type of style of Javonte ever. And I think honestly, I think a lot of running backs can run behind this Cowboys offensive line. I think you give Rico Dowdle a chance to be a running back one alongside Jaden Blue, hoping Jaden Blue gets a lot more production this year. I'm saying I think Dowdle can do his thing. He had 1,076 yards this year, 6 touchdowns, also splitting a lot of carries with Chuba Hubbard and Trevor Etienne, brother of Travis Etienne. So I think if you give him a full workload, I think he can produce probably even more.
So you would take Rico Dowdle over Breece Hall?
That's not realistic. I don't think Dallas would target Breece Hall.
I think they could. Why not?
I just don't think they would. That's just
he has a recent injury history. Breece Hall does, so teams might be a little bit afraid to target that. Why don't you think so? You would rather if you're the head coach, if you're the GM, you would pick Rico Dowdle over Breece Hall?
No, I would pick Breece Hall, but I'm just saying, realistically speaking, Dallas would probably go after Rico.
Okay. No, I respect it. I think it's a great pick. No, actually, I don't think it's a great pick. I think Breece Hall is a great pick. I think we've already tried the Rico Dowdle situation. I think you got to move on personally. Go up there. Just honestly, all of our problems are solved if you re-sign Javonte Williams. That would solve a lot of our problems. But yeah, that would be my situation there. So that is our free agency recap.
Do you not have one more?
No, I had Greg Newsome. You want to do one more?
Yeah, you should do one more. Close it out.
Close it here. Okay, I gotta look back here at on my list here. 1 second here. I had a whole bunch of names here. 1 second. So I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the right tackle position because I think Terrence Steele has been a bit of an up and down player for Dallas the last couple of years, and more down than up. I think ever since he got paid. So any one of these,
he's a good run blocker. He's not a good pass blocker.
I think Jonah Williams, a right tackle, would be a great option. He obviously has familiar with Clayton Adams in Arizona when he was there. Jonah Williams, he's only 28 years old. It's a little bit more of an expensive player to target, but I think that's a massive upgrade over Terrence Steele, and you don't have to invest in any draft capital to get a guy like that. So Jonah Williams, would be my last one. But any thoughts overall on the free agency stuff? Are you excited for it? It's good. It's coming up, man.
It is. I think it's gonna be hot this year. Also, a name that I didn't mention. This is not for Dallas, but in general. But I was talking to one of my friends about this. I think Deebo Samuel is someone to keep an eye out for, even though his production dropped a bit over the past year or two. But I don't know why. I just for some reason I can see Deebo Samuel in a Pittsburgh Steelers jersey.
Yeah,
I just don't know why.
That could be a possibility.
I think having him and DK, having to finally have a actual wide receiver too, and not Calvin Austin. That's someone that we know that said that he'd be good enough to be wide receiver too, or Roman Wilson. So that's one of them. But I think the free agency this year, still a lot of players who haven't. We have to see. There's still this stage where teams have to re-sign and bring back their own players. So some of the guys that we mentioned could just won't even be on the list because teams re-signed them already. But yeah, I just hope Dallas does something. I think Dallas will do something. Oh, dude, you know one who we forgot to mention? It's also realistic. Nakobe Dean.
Yeah, Nakobe Dean, great. I'm just a little bit worried that he hasn't had that same kind of burst that he had prior to his injuries. It could be a good combo with a guy like DeMarvion Overshown and Marius Leofau. Obviously Christian Parker as well, but I would prefer Reed Blankenship over Nakobe Dean for now, even though you know this more than anyone. I was a massive Nakobe Dean fan before the draft. I said I need Dallas to draft him. We were on our phones and we couldn't wait, and then obviously the Eagles picked him up. So that would be when
we had him. We picked Sam Williams over him.
Yeah, so that'll do it, Humzah, for our free agency recap. Not recaps, sorry, our free agency predictions, and we'll see how this goes. And we'll keep it updated before the actual free agency happens. And overall, Humzah, super excited for the offseason to kind of get underway here. Before we end off, obviously I'm wearing my Team Canada hoodie. The Olympics are well underway here in Milano Cortina. The Winter Olympics, that is. So Hamza, let me ask you. Obviously, I'm excited for hockey. I think not getting national hockey players back on the rosters is going to be a pretty big deal. Canada opens up their tournament against Czechia Thursday at 10:40 Eastern. Super exciting for this country, for the game of hockey, and just having NHL players back is super cool. And I need a Canada-USA gold medal game. That would be perfect. But let me ask you, Hamza. We'll go summer and then we'll go winter first. What Summer Olympic sport would you want to participate in, given your history of athletic ability, or what would be your number one or two? What would be your number one or two? We'll go one. We'll go one summer, one winter. What would you want to compete in?
Summer would definitely be the dancing, break dancing. I think they removed it.
Break dancing.
I think they removed it. No, summer. The most realistic.
I would win gold in breakdancing, by the way.
No, you wouldn't. The most realistic one would be flag football, but I don't know. These guys are scary quick, especially at the rushers. But and let's just say if I automatically had the ability to be this good at this specific sport, it'd definitely be soccer.
Soccer, not 100-meter run.
No, just a badge.
Okay.
In the winter, bobsleigh.
Bobsled.
Yeah.
Wow. Why bobsled?
Sure. It looks so fun. It looks really fun.
I thought you'd do. Okay, cool. So for me, summer, I wish if I was an elite swimmer, I would go water polo. That is so cool. It's like handball in the water. They're fighting under the water, throwing the ball in the net. That's super. I wish I could swim like that.
Have you ever played water polo, like at some your friend's house or something, or like
in the backyard
basketball?
pools? Yeah, yeah.
Or like pool basketball?
You know I'm an elite swimmer. I'm an elite swimmer. Okay, so that would be my summer water polo. Number one, hands down, water polo. Number two, winter. I mean, I wish I could do it, but like that snowboard air. Have you seen that? It's like with the going, the snowboarding when you go down and you're just doing massive flips and stuff in the air, like crazy backwards, 380, 190, 740, 225. I mean,
you were an elite skier in like grade 6, no?
No, I was not. I was not. We had our school field trips to skiing. It wasn't elite, but snowboarding. Aren't you? Actually, you were an elite skier.
Indeed, I was.
Humzah tore his ACL skiing.
I initiated a knee injury, then eventually turned into an ACL playing basketball.
Okay, cool. How fired up are you for the hockey?
They're playing Czechia tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a good one. I think. Like the things with Olympic sports, right? Like even basketball too. You have, like, you would say that these guys are the best players in the world because they play in the NHL, but once you play for your country, once you play for there's a lot more on the line, and the games are a lot harder to compete against. So, still think Canada's gonna win for sure, but
yeah, Czechia's got a really good team. David Pastrnak, Thomas Hertl, Philip Hronek on the defensive side. So, they're a good team.
Indeed.
Dominic Kubalik, who I met. Great guy.
Kubalik. Yeah.
Cool. Any other final questions or debating questions you have, Humzah, to end the podcast?
Okay, I actually do have one.
Let's hear it.
Gatorade or Powerade?
Gatorade. And if anyone says Powerade, they're not right.
Mine depends on the flavor. Grape Powerade's so good. Actually, no, I'm gonna go get a good grape Powerade before I leave.
Gatorade 100%. Gatorade 100%. All right, cool. Well, next week, why don't we prepare a little bit more debate questions so we can kind of go at it a little bit more, because I think I'm a much better debater than you. I don't think it's even close, and we should be able
next
to
week.
Humzah wants to do. Okay, yeah, potentially. Well, maybe a mock draft 3 next week, but we'll talk about that. But regardless, we should do some more debating, for sure. Okay. Before I give it to Humzah to close it out, I want to thank everyone for watching on YouTube and listening on Spotify. We really appreciate it. On the road to 100 subscribers. I think we're only 7 away. So if you guys can please smash the subscribe button, share it to your family, friends, and your loved ones, that'll be much appreciated. And thank you all for listening. And I'll give it to Humzah to close it out.
I mean, you already closed out, but again, we appreciate everything, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.